Ian, look at this.
What, it's a police box? What on earth's he doing here? I mean, these things are usually on the street. I feel it. I feel it. You feel it?
Faint vibration.
It's alive.
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup exploring over 60 years of the Doctor Who universe. Hold on tight, you never know where the crew of the TARDIS is going next.
Hey there, Whovians, we are back 2 weeks in a row. This is awesome. This is so much fun. Doctor Who is back, and we have the return of Stephen Moffat. That's right, folks. We are talking about the third episode of the new season, and we're going boom. That's right, folks. We are just going to explode everywhere. And, you know, we were going to gush, but now we're booming. So it's a good thing. And we've got a great crew to talk all about this. And, of course, let's welcome our regulars. Mr. Mike Gordon is here.
Howdy.
And Ms. Mary Ogle.
Hi, everybody. It is fantastic to be here.
Let's also welcome our guests. We have returning to the show, Kirby Bartlett-Sloan.
Kiss, kiss.
I knew he was going to. I knew it. I knew he was going to be the one to do that. You know,
Somebody had to.
Exactly. Your face is blinking, Kirby.
Yes.
I love it. And welcome to the first time to the show, Ken.
Hey, how's this going?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Good. I'm
So
all
this
excited.
This is your first time on Earth Station Who. You want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Oh,
Like your Whovian background.
Yeah. I started watching Doctor Who back in the PBS days, back in the actually early 80s, wasn't it? But and I've been a fan ever since, and I was, watching with Tom Baker. When I got to see Peter John Pertwee was my favorite for the longest time. So, and I was so glad to see when David Tennant seemed to be great. He's like one of the best doctors, I think. So, but
right. I remember.
What does your shirt say?
Oh, I was a Whovian before Whovian was cool.
Awesome.
I don't know if you know this, but I don't know if it's cool again.
No. Well, it depends on who you ask,
Yeah.
Some people it's not. But
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was like in the 80s. Yes, exactly.
Nothing's changed.
yeah, if you guys noticed, just 2 weeks, was it 2 weeks ago, I marked my 44th year of being a Whovian. So,
Wow.
Wow.
I know
All
the
right, Kirby. I
exact day that I
think you take
first
it.
left.
Yeah, I think you take it.
Yeah, this podcast is definitely for the kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're ready for those
in with the
millennials.
kids.
Yeah,
Someone
we're
has
touching
found-
to the millennial look right here all the way.
Someone
the
has
antithesis
challenged
of
me
the official Doctor Who podcast.
Someone has
Exactly.
challenged me to find out what day I started. I first listened to Hitchhiker's Guide, so I need to find that.
Was it on a Thursday? Was it on a Thursday?
No, not a weekend.
Yeah,
So-
with the Hitchhiker's Guide, I got first exposed to actually the video game, which was the Infocom game, and I was like,
Oh yeah,
Yes.
well, maybe I can actually read the book and get some clues to figure out how to solve the game. Which, no, it was, the books and the games is not, there weren't many clues to.
Yeah, the game even came with a piece of fluff.
Yes. I remember that. And I always made it. I was always stuck on the Zygon on the ship, on the doing the poetry. So
I might be able to figure it out actually when I was introduced or first listened to the radio series of the Hitchhiker's Guide, because I listened to it. It aired after Star Wars.
Oh yes.
So when they were doing the Star Wars series on our public broadcasting station in the radio in Massachusetts, that's when I started listening to Hitchhikers. And so I don't know, I could probably track that down, but
Yeah, our college radio station was doing the same thing. First the Star Wars and then Hitchhikers.
Mm-hmm. No, but the PBS station, the NPR station was doing, that's where I first heard the Star Wars audio and Hitchhikers. So it's pretty cool. So
yeah,
pretty
I think
cool
that's probably
stuff.
true for a lot of us. So
Yep. All right.
thank you, Star Wars, for introducing me to Douglas Adams.
And that is Hitchhiker's Guide for the Galaxy Talk tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Our Station Who, where we do not talk at all about Doctor Who.
Nope, exactly.
Us old people, we go on
We
tangents.
just ramble.
we just ramble.
We ramble. We're old, exactly. Back in our day, the Doctor had a big scarf.
I don't think that's necessarily an age thing, because
It's just us.
Yeah,
It's just us.
a lot of people ramble. So
Oh, I've heard many podcasts where people just ramble. It's like, all right, get onto the topic already.
I think that's a requirement for podcasting.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. But it's kind of cool. We got some good stuff ahead of us to talk about tonight. And let's hit the news real quick. And one of the first things that we've heard, coming out with an interview with Stephen Moffat, who we're going to be talking a lot about tonight. It's come out that he has definitely written the Christmas special, not this year's, but next year's.
Yeah, I guess that was a sticking point with him. He just felt like he never got the Christmas special right during his run, which
right.
So he's going to try to amend that, which is curious. I mean, I think some of his were fine efforts. One of his, I think, is one of my favorites. Yeah, Christmas Carol is one of my favorites. So I think he nailed that one. Maybe his last one, probably. Maybe if he's thinking about that
he
one,
needs to make up for that one completely.
So so maybe that, but I mean, more Moffat is always fine with me.
Yeah.
You never can get enough Moffat, and it's interesting too because I like Stephen much more as a writer than a showrunner.
Oh, I hate people saying that. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just hate people saying that because it seems like it diminishes him. I think he was a great showrunner. He's my second favorite showrunner of all time. And I don't think he gets enough credit as a great showrunner. All the things he did as a showrunner, yes, there were things he did wrong or that didn't work out for him, but he was ambitious, probably more ambitious than any other showrunner we've ever had. And casting decisions that he made that he oversaw and things of that nature, some of the best Doctor Who is during his run. I don't think he gets enough credit as a showrunner.
Okay. I'm gonna agree to disagree, but that's okay.
But why do you feel like he made a better writer than a showrunner?
Yeah.
I just like his stories are so much stronger when he was writing.
So you like his stories that he wrote when he wasn't a showrunner better than the ones that he wrote when he was a showrunner?
No, I liked some of them that he wrote also when he was a showrunner. But I think the stories were better than what he did. But I didn't say he was a bad showrunner. I just think he was a better writer. Come on, my favorite episode of Doctor Who pretty much in the new series is Blink. And it's just a given. And then a couple of the others, the Doctor dances, Are You My Mummy, that whole thing was great. I think Stephen had a lot of great ideas when he was the showrunner, but I think he was also cut down at the knees by different events like Matt Smith announcing that he was going to be leaving, where Stephen still had much more story to tell with his Doctor. And I don't blame him for that. I just think he was overambitious at times.
Let me ask you this. Since New Who's come back, there's been 3 showrunners.
Yes.
Who is the best?
Probably I'd say probably Russell T Davies.
Okay.
Well,
for me.
I'll go with Moffat as my favorite actually as well. So I mean,
Yeah, well, he's my favorite too. But I will say that there is something freeing about writing standalone episodes, and when you don't have the responsibility of being a showrunner. And I think I think that does show in some of his writing when he's not the showrunner. But he's still my favorite showrunner.
But for me, it's interesting too, because I agree with what you said, Mary. It was more freeing for him, and it made me realize how good his stories were by watching this episode. And so it just, it was like a breath of fresh air. And, we'll get into that in a minute or two, because we'll probably just skip the rest of the news because nothing earth shattering anyway. But it's just, it
Nothing
was
booming.
nice to see. It was nice to see. This is probably my favorite episode of Doctor Who, probably since Moffat left. And,
Well, that wouldn't be that big.
that's
of
not a
stretch.
hard one. And we have
saying that's a
4
low
minutes
bar.
and 32 seconds into the show since we started subliminally
how do you-
bashing
how do you-
Chibnall there.
How do you
Yeah.
Chibnall bash without Chibnall bashing?
Exactly.
That's probably the most subtle Chibnall bash we've ever had on the
That's
show.
very diplomatic.
Congratulations. That's pretty awesome.
So, but yeah, but it was a fun episode. It was so well written, and that's what I've missed, is really good written stories, and on so many different levels. And that's what I loved about it. Yeah, I loved The Devil's Note last week. That was a fun episode. It was good, but this was like to another level.
Mhm.
And but let's save that for the review and everything.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break, and we will be back in a moment, and we will talk about Boom. Welcome back. Now it's time to talk all about Boom, the newest episode of Doctor Who, number 3 in season 14, or number 4 of season 1 if you go by the Disney count.
Whatever.
So,
Whatever. Talk about
wibbly
numbers.
wobbly, timey wimey.
Exactly.
So we got an episode written and also executive produced by Stephen Moffat.
Ooh, really?
And so it was fun to see Stephen back, and you could definitely feel the Moffat in it and everything. But one thing I'll just say right from the beginning, it was very interesting. This could easily be a play. It's like literally one scene. It's like one location. And it was
a very brief.
Yeah.
It's the
in
bottle
that
episode.
camp.
Yeah.
No, it's a good way to put it. And it was interesting. And after what we got with Space Babies, and then what we got with The Devil's Cord, I think we got this episode, and I think this really showed Chudi's acting chops.
Absolutely.
I think,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Millie's. Yeah.
and Millie's too. Yeah, very much so. I think both of them acted the heck out of it, even though Millie was laying down dead for like half the episode.
She took a powder.
Yeah, exactly. She stopped the snow, as I like to say.
Yes, she stopped.
Let's- Let's get initial thoughts first. Ken, it's your first time, on the show. So let's hear what you thought about this one.
Well, one thing I noticed right off was a little minor detail is the soldier is the blind one. I've forgotten his name, but his age was 42.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's like, oh, we got a little Hitchhiker's reference here already. It's like his daughter seemed to be the weak point of the episode.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed with that.
Totally agree with that.
But it was nice to see Bharat Sistu. How is she gonna, if she's gonna appear later, or is it gonna be the same character? Or
It is not going to be the same character, what they're saying, but Russell T.
But they
Davies
lie.
lies. Yeah.
So who knows?
But it was a nice surprise that we got her right from the beginning, this early into the new season. And it kind of like, Osgood in, the Matt Smith era. And then you also had Karen Gillan, appear earlier, and so It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
And Peter Capaldi, actually, you had a doctor, and Colin Baker, and you can keep on going
this has
further and
happened
further.
a ton of times. It's
Yeah.
like a tradition.
Exactly.
But those things,
I was
those things
pleased
weren't
that
intentional. The Jenna Coleman one was intentional. This one was intentional as well.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I was pleased to see the Anglican soldiers again. I mean, it was nice, and I guess that's a Moffat thing here with
Yep. It was their
and
third appearance of them.
yeah, and I think for me, this was the episode I cried more than any other Doctor Who episode I've ever seen. I mean, it was all the emotion and everybody worried about you know you know Doctor. It was a great episode overall, I think. So yeah.
Yep, that's awesome. No, I totally agree with that. Kirby, what are your initial thoughts?
Well, it looked absolutely fantastic. First of all, and my going into it, I was really gripped by it and so emotional and everything. I had problems with the kid. I mean, she's too young to be able to push her emotions about her dad dying away that quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look, the antelope.
I agree.
Yeah, but here's the antelope.
I remember that.
Yeah, that actually would have worked if she was younger. I mean, really young, because just not getting death at all. But she was old enough to get that her dad was dead, and her response to it was really strange.
Yes, exactly. I had some issues with the fact that the Doctor is not going to die. So even though he's going to blow up half the planet, no, he's not. He's going to survive the episode. So there wasn't really that much tension for me, although Ncuti just acted his chops off. I mean, he's the most emotional Doctor I've ever seen, and he's just really, really great. I was kind of glad that that the companion was shot, because it actually gave me
okay. Wow, Kirby. I was glad the companion was shot.
There was some tension there that I was not expecting.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. There's a lot of other companions I would rather had shot. Of
course, I expected her to live as well, because we know that she's the focus of the rest of the season. But for a few seconds there, I was thinking, oh, maybe they're gonna somehow tie in. I mean, that other actress is gonna be the next companion. Is this gonna somehow tie in? Are they gonna replace her somehow? Is there gonna be timey-wiminess going on or something? Who knows? There's already timey-wiminess, because the Devil's Cord makes a reference to her being in the TARDIS for 6 months, which is strange.
Yeah. But it's interesting then, do these stories take place in order or not? Because according to this episode, this was her first time on another planet.
Right.
And so the scene where she looked up and saw the planets, the rings, that was just so beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was so well done. And the Doctor was like, oh, I am so sorry. This is not what you deserved. You deserve something better than this.
But anyway, I enjoyed it. I'm going to have to say that I liked the Devil's Cord a little bit better, but this was a great episode.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, Mr. Mike.
Well, Moffat's back, and this is Moffat's bringing out the hits. Like, he's bringing out like all his greatest hits, right? He's bringing out like the Villain Guard. Like, he's like, here's the Villain Guard. I had the Villain Guard in my first story. I had the Villain Guard in my final story. I'm back again. So here's the Villain Guard again. And that's that's a Stephen Moffat thing. The whole like AI, that's the trouble with AI and working through the system of having a human component, battle the AI system from within. That's a Moffat trope that he's used a few times. The fact that he's, I love his sort of his interview about this, or his, when they were interviewing about this, and he was like, I saw the Tom Baker story, Genesis Daleks, and there's a scene where, Tom's doctor, the fourth doctor, steps on a mine, and it's cleared up. He and Harry take care of it in like 3 minutes. He's like, but what if?
One of my favorite scenes. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. And this is, it's not. I don't think it's referenced in this, but there is, of course, not directly, but there is that sort of also that sequence where the doctor helps Davros on the minefield during Moffat's run as well. So there's this sort of thing it's not new, it's not a brand new concept, but I do like the fact that he uses it to tell this really interesting story. And that I think also the acting, Kirby, you're absolutely right. There's no doubt in my mind that the doctor is going to live through this, that half the planet's not going to blow up, et cetera, et cetera. And yet, the way it's directed, the way it's edited, the way the music cues are, the Murray Gold's work in the music, the other actors involved, everything adds a level of tension to this story, even though logically that he's not in any danger. Like, he's not in any danger. The character's not in any danger. The actor's not in any danger. No one's in any danger here. And yet I was on the edge of my seat throughout most of it.
Oh, sure.
And that's a credit to everybody involved, because let's say that's not an easy thing to pull off.
No, but it's also very interesting because when Moffat met with the director the first time, and she was like asking what kind of feel the story would have, and he said Hitchcock. And I can now that we've seen it, totally could see it.
Yeah,
totally.
That's the other thing he said. He never really got a chance to do a suspenseful episode during his run. So that's what he was doing. So, and it was interesting. That the whole thing is just, the fact that Russell T was like, he said that Stephen was like the third person he called. It's like, I'm gonna do Doctor Who again. And Stephen's like, are you crazy?
Exactly.
Do you want to come do it with me? And that kind of thing. And so I liked it overall. I thought it was really good. And there's a lot of things that are foretelling things in the future, I guess, of this storyline, whatever. I don't think we learn anything of note. But there are things that are, obviously that are going to continue on. But I love the use of the clerics in this as well. I think that they are, definitely that sort of, and I'm surprised Moffat doesn't get more heat for this, but for making this sort of clerical, military unit that exists in the world of Doctor Who. I don't think it's used like a lot, as much as it could be, and yet I'm surprised it doesn't get like more crap, because it's like this just seems like it's a slap in the face.
In the episode, when Ruby was like, the military clerics are the military, and it's like, yeah, it's been that way for thousands of years, even in your time. And it's kind of true. Yeah.
True.
So, and
well, it is true. It's we still have religious wars.
Yeah, absolutely. The Crusades, right? And that's why I get what you guys are saying about the girl. I get it. Like, and Mary, your point about her being younger probably would have helped. It didn't really dawn on me though, because I really just felt that she was so blind with her faith that she didn't have any concept. Like, they didn't teach these people. The company, the corporation that doesn't want these people or these people that they're using to understand about death and loss, because it's not really, it's not something that would benefit them. Right. So they don't want that to happen. So they're completely blind in their faith. There's so much so that they don't even know there's nobody there to fight. Like, it's just, it's
they
amazing.
Don't even question it. Yeah.
No, not at all. Not at all. And so that's why the girls' faith in that way didn't really it rang true to me, because I was just like, well, she's just like everybody else in here, you know.
Mm-hmm. All right. Mary, what about you?
I thought this was a really great episode. Very Moffat, and oh my God, I miss Moffat so much. It was so nice. So nice getting another Moffat episode, and getting a really good one. But I mean, I pretty much agree with everything everybody said, but I especially liked the whole commentary on modern warfare and how it's tied in with capitalism.
Oh,
And
big time. Yes.
oh, it's very corporate run, and selling weapons to everybody, and then creating a venue for them to be used.
Like
You
that episode
know,
Oxygen, right? Where they sell the
right?
air back to people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, and I also I love the commentary on indoctrination. And the thing about, Mundy is not really a likable character. She
No.
is an understandable character. And it actually was kind of fascinating to watch her, very, very slowly get dragged into reality, rather than what she has been taught her entire life.
Mhm. And
She is not just, instantly going, oh, you're right. This is, I believe you now, instead of, what I've heard my whole life.
well,
I'm glad
exactly.
they didn't do that. Yeah. And I think that ties in with what you were saying about the child who, well, she's still in a very early part of indoctrination. She's not even adult enough
Right.
to get to the point Mundy is even at.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it was funny because you could see Mundy's eyes slowly being forced open.
Yeah, and she does not want to go there. She
Nope.
No,
wants to
she
keep
doesn't.
believing what she's been taught.
Right. And,
I kept going. I kept going. Hurry up! Hurry up! It's gonna explode! Hurry up!
yeah, exactly. And it's funny because, the villains in this, or the bad guys who, oh, we're at war with these, they're in the mud, or they might be in the fog. We've never been able to see them. And the doctor just like literally, because there isn't anybody here, and it's just like, and the look on her face, no, and such. And it's true because, it's the great war machine, basically, funding it. And, you know, they need to, they don't make money unless there's a war going on. And it doesn't matter how many lives are, being lost, because,
Life
the
is the cheapest thing of all in
exactly,
that universe. Yeah.
exactly. And that was just pretty damn amazing. And it was interesting to see. And I loved when the doctor was singing the Skyboat song. And
Yeah.
it was
Yeah, that
just,
was very haunting and beautiful.
oh,
Yeah.
exactly.
And a
More
nice.
music in Doctor Who. Oh my God, the
Oh my
world
He
comes
is.
God,
to an
they're
end.
singing.
Oh
You know?
Nashudi has sung in every episode.
Yes, he
Yes,
has.
he has sung in every single episode. This is a doctor that sings.
Mhm.
even even if he's
Even if he's
standing on a
dying.
landmine.
Yeah.
Also,
Yes.
he's also cried in every episode.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
That's
You're
very
right,
true.
and you're right in saying that he's the most emotional doctor. And I love that. It's so different. It's so fresh. I love his approach to things, and maybe in another actor who, wasn't as skilled, it would not work as well. But I mean,
Mhm.
he pulls it off so well.
He
And
does a
those
good
little,
job of turning on a dime, and Matt
oh,
Smith
very
could
much
do
so.
that too.
Yeah.
Goes
Yes.
from kind of silly to very scary
Serious.
and
Yes.
serious very quickly.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly. You'd be going like, and then all of a sudden, be afraid, be very afraid of me,
Yeah.
And I see that a lot with Shooty's doctor. It's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
It's good you mentioned villain guard, because then suddenly remembered what came to mind when I was watching it was the Valeyard with
Yeah.
and it's like, could this eventually bring out the Valeyard in this whole story arc?
He might be
overall.
the one who waits.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, it's possible.
you know, it's like this whole splitting of the reality. Like all of a sudden we got Mavity. Is that going to be like sort of like the reference that okay, we're in a different universe?
Right.
Is like that's your key word. That whenever you see Mavity, we know we're actually in a different universe, and you know, with the Doctor splitting, or you know, with the bi-generation and you know, it just remains to be seen.
So many questions. I mean, obviously, I don't think it's a coincidence that during the sequence where Mavity happens, the character, I guess we can say characters played by Susan Twist,
Yep.
is
Yep.
there.
No, she's
Is
been in
there,
every episode.
and
Yeah.
she's been in every episode playing, you know, different characters, and certainly she's, I think, most prevalent so far in this one.
Yes.
Oh, she was
Yes.
right in your face in this
Yes.
one.
I mean, she's the face of the enemy here.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
she's the
very
face of the company.
sinister.
I had to point out to when we recorded 20 megabyte yesterday, I had to point out to them that this was the first time that she was credited though in all these episodes.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
she was credited in one other episode. I don't remember which one. It was like,
Was it
it
the
a-
Tenant
The first
one?
one with the Tenant, with the special. She
Um,
might have
It
been.
might have been. But
I don't
it's, you know,
And
but it's interesting because, yeah, because the Doctor in previous episodes barely took notice of her, or, you know, didn't really even pay attention to her. Here, she was right in his
Yeah,
face.
she's a little
There was no way
harder
she
to
could
miss
not.
here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I wanted to take a pair of red blue 3D glasses and see if that projection was in 3D as well, because it's very definitely got those colors in it.
Yeah.
No, exactly. It was interesting. What did you guys think of when the ambulances for take killed the soldiers? The little, you know, I guess the little urn or something,
Yeah.
but that's their
The
body.
tube of flesh.
The tube of flesh. Even you saw the one with the eye on it, and it was just like,
Yeah, that
Uh,
was,
it was just
that
like,
was
and then the
That was
doctor
gross.
kisses it at the end. It's like, oh, you know,
little necrophilia there.
exactly.
Well, you know, Ruby is holding it, and he's like, you know, you're holding. That's not a container. That's with a dead person. That you're holding
That's
it.
the
That's
dead
the
body.
Actually, dead
body.
person. That's a dead body. And she's like, ew. And I'm like, you know, 6 months ago you were fighting a snot monster. I mean, I don't think this like you know, I don't know where that really ranks on as far as like gross out factor, but like fear factor kind of stuff. But I mean, it's like, I don't know. I almost think the snot monster would be worse.
Yeah.
I think
I
the
wouldn't be
snot monster
kissing a
would
snot
be-
monster. Let's put it that way.
But she never touched the snot monster.
No, she put her
Oh no,
hand
she
in.
got slimed by the snot
Yeah.
monster.
Yeah.
No, didn't she got slimed when it came out of the ceiling?
But it's
Wasn't it?
still slime.
It's
Yeah,
still snot.
It's what the
It's
monster
snot.
is made
It's
out of.
baby snot. Ew.
Yeah, it kind of give me a thought of like, oh, it's like a more primitive version of the tissue compression eliminator.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, I thought of that
Yes.
too. That's what, yeah. The
Yeah,
master.
I kind of
Yeah.
thought that too. And it also had the hologram connected to it, you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
and the whole thing with the AI. It was interesting. I didn't mind the whole thing with the father, you know, John Vetter saving the day, you know, being, you know, going into the system to save his daughter, basically. And I thought that was interesting. And I thought it was better in that instead of him just being some emotionless hologram and just standing there and going kiss, kiss, you know, all the time. So I thought that part was good. I enjoyed that. I thought it was, you know, he became a virus. He became sentient in some ways and was able to, you know, and it was interesting because the doctor was going father to father.
Mhm.
He's never brought up, you know, that he's, that he had,
Or he
who's
doesn't
that.
usually bring it up. Yeah.
No, exactly. And
does.
that's another thing with them. It's like, okay, you got the whole thing with the kid, that he's a parent again. And, father to father, we would do anything to save our children. And so it was interesting with that. I thought it was very well done. And, that touched on a lot of different levels right there. And, just the writing though for it was really well done. So I thought that was kind of
Yeah.
cool.
I have to give Moffat credit because usually when something, it's such a trope. Oh, it was the power of love that solved all the problems, but he did it well here. He did it well.
Yes,
Yeah. Well,
that
I
he
mean,
did.
he kind of did it before in Silence of the Library, so
Oh,
it wasn't like this.
he's done it several times.
That's true.
Yes.
And
That's true.
not just him.
Right. So he's had practice. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Moffat's not reinventing the wheel here, but I mean, it's what he does. He does really well, and he's using all these elements, throwing in a lot of reference to his past stuff and other Doctor Who stuff too throughout the franchise. I don't know if it was his idea or, I mean, I got a feeling that off the off the record, I think that Moffat is a creative consultant to Russell T for this entire series. I get the feeling that they are talking, so that that Moffat is aware of how everything's going to play out this season and next season.
You think he's contributing behind the scenes?
I think so.
Even if it's just discussing plot
if,
lines.
If Steven's the third person you call when you're coming back to a show, and we know that they talk a lot. So I would imagine that, yeah, they probably sit there and have dinner, and maybe Russell runs some things by him, and he, kind of goes, ooh, that's, because I think he already said that there was something, in one of the episodes that we just saw that he mentioned to Steven, and Steven was like, you might want to change that. And he did. I can't remember what it was now, but yeah. So Steven's been like there, but I think Steven's like, I could dip in, I could dip out. I don't have to like, I'm not getting paid for I get paid for my story and that's it. Like I'm not the main man. So I'm good with that. So I think you're right. I mean, he is enjoying his freedom in that respect, but I mean, even the first two stories kind of have a little bit like Russell T's not, I mean, obviously I think he's Russell T and he's more Russell T than he's ever been. But I also think that there's like this Moffat heaviness that's kind of in the series now too, that wasn't there on Russell T's like initial run.
Well, the show has evolved and they've picked up from different, pieces. And truthfully,
yeah, but it doesn't feel like it, like
no,
the children
but RTD is more mature as a writer, more mature as a showrunner than he was when he first started and everything. So
yeah, but
I think,
there's a specific like Moffat vibe that I've gotten from some things that have happened in the past, like in the specials and in the first two episodes. And it could just be me.
Yeah. No,
I wouldn't be
agree with you.
surprised if he was consulting with Moffat. I mean,
yeah,
why not?
I wouldn't doubt it at all.
I'll bet he's talking to Chibs.
I mean, he does have executive producer credit too. So.
Yep, exactly. But it's interesting because then we also got the whole thing with the snow in this, and it's like, so it definitely seems like when Ruby is under duress, we get the snow, and then when she started fading, the snow froze.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Last time we saw snow freeze on Doctor Who was Twice Upon a Time.
Yep.
And I don't think she's about to regenerate.
I have to say though that snowflake at the very end, I did expect it to suddenly develop teeth.
Yeah, because it was very similar to
Yes.
that scene. Yeah.
Maybe the great intelligence is behind this.
The great intelligence is the one who waits.
Exactly. Hey, or it could be the meddling monk, or it could be the Ronnie, or it could be
I mean,
Yeah,
Always
throw-
Ronnie.
throw stuff out there. Everybody, like, I mean, I don't think there is a theory that's not been said out there
no, of course.
of who the one who waits is, who's a member of the pantheon. Let me ask you this. Okay, so it's apparent that and I'm really interested to hear what Max and Kirby say because they weren't here for the last week. But so Ruby is a companion, but she's not just a normal person. she's she's special.
Something.
We don't know why, how, or why, or anything like that. She's got a mystery behind her. How do you guys are you guys okay with a companion that, because that was one of the big criticisms during the Moffat run, is that all the companions had to be like, you know, the
Become
special center
immortal.
of the universe kind of thing. And so here we are again, and we've got this, and it looks like we're going to get another one kind of like that too, next season already. But what do you guys feel about that?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm still deciding.
Yeah, I have mixed
That's fair.
feelings about it too, because I mean, we just haven't seen a lot yet.
No, not yet.
to,
It's still too early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it kind of depends on where it goes. Like I really loved the whole Clara thing in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then it got really convoluted and old, and she became, the center of everything, and that
Right.
did not work for me.
I enjoyed it when, before the 50th anniversary special, but then once she was with Capaldi and I did not enjoy the character there. But, with Ruby, I was actually really surprised. I was partly holding my breath, when she was shot. I was partly like, that much, is she going to start glowing? But,
Well, the fact that they revealed that her being human is like, I wasn't expecting her to start glowing because
right. But someone, I saw a theory. Yeah, she's showing up as Homo sapien because maybe someone used a fob watch on her or something. And so, when she was
I hope
little
that's
or
not what
something.
it is.
Oh
No.
my goodness.
yeah, I mean,
well,
if
like
growing up,
you guys said, there's theories everywhere, and everyone is
I'm trying to
throwing.
think if she has an
see what
item that
sticks.
could be like a fob watch kind of thing, but she doesn't have. I do think that that's one thing that I wish. I think Ruby right now is more of a mystery than she is a character, and I would like to see her more. She, like the actress, has a great chemistry with Shooty and everything like that, and Millie's great, but I find it really difficult to define her as a unique character so far. And I've seen, everything from that she's a Time Lord, that she's, Susan, that she's uh that she's
The
uh
Boneyard, the
that she's going to be the big bad of the
Yeah.
season, that she's going to, that she's going to turn heel. And I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. We don't have much to go on, and apart from, she's kind of just come across as kind of generic so far. And I just would like to see, I hope we get more character moments specifically of her.
Well, it looks
going
like we
forward.
will get next week. Because that looks like it's
Yes.
a Dr. Light episode.
Yeah, more centered on her.
That's
least-
cool.
at
That's,
least
I mean,
from
that's,
the
it's a good
trailer.
time for that. It's a good time for that because she took a siesta in this one and wasn't really in like the third act.
Well, I mean, people have seen her grow up from being a baby to an adult, and I'm pretty sure she would have probably been checked out by a doctor to see, well, did she have two hearts or not? But she obviously doesn't. Otherwise, that would have been
No, but that's
noted.
the thing. The whole thing with the fob watch, when the doctor used it on himself, and he was John Smith, he had his whole physiology changed, and it was
Right.
one heart.
Yeah, but
and
we're
everything.
talking about she was a baby at the point, when she
Yeah.
was, you wouldn't fob watch yourself when you're a baby. And
Who said she did it to herself? Though?
But
So-
but then she had her mother deliver her to the church, and it's like,
If that's her mother who delivered
That's
her.
exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
it's funny, everyone's throwing around the name the Trickster. So
yeah, I've seen that all over the place. That's the
Yeah.
current fad
yeah.
theory.
So, but not
And
enough people know
Mrs.
who the
Flood
Trickster is
Mrs.
because not
Flood is,
everyone watched Sarah Jane. That's the thing.
well, they can reintroduce the trickster.
Yeah.
But Mrs. Flood is obviously River Song. I mean, flood, river, pond.
Yeah,
Spoilers, darling.
whatever.
lots of water
Yeah.
references. Yeah.
It's
Agree to
hard.
disagree with that so far, but you know,
It's
I'm
hard
not
to
saying-
create a
look,
great character when you don't have a real backstory.
I've never been a big fan of, and Russell T, you know, hinted very strongly that, you know, Captain Jack becomes the face of Bo, and I never really, that's taken two great characters and putting them together in a way that I don't think works for me. So, I mean, is it possible that he could do something like that? Yes, sure. That he could have River be Mrs. Flood, but I mean, come on. The other thing I was wanted to ask you guys too is that every episode has not only featured the Doctor singing, but also a character, sometimes multiple characters, break the fourth wall. Like every episode we've got so far, like looks right at the audience
Mhm.
and breaks that fourth wall. Is that just a trope of this season, or do you think it means something?
Well, I mean, I think it could go either way.
Exactly.
But I mean, I mean, it could be a red herring, but also I do think that there's something going on with reality.
Yes.
Whether it's destabilized or whether it's some sort of alternate or virtual reality or just been changed somehow by the Pantheon.
Mhm. Or the whole
Um,
season has just been a kid playing a video game or something.
Yes, or yeah, they're gonna
Yeah.
they're all gonna be in a giant snow globe or something.
Yes.
But yeah.
The great intelligence again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Within the snow globe is Mavity, you know, it's but yeah, with my take on Mrs. Flood, it's because there's one scene where she's carrying these bags and then she sees the TARDIS and she's like shocked, you know, and then it's like, and then there's a times where she's like complaining that it was just there on all of a sudden out of the, it's like, but yet at another point she's, oh, haven't you seen a TARDIS before? So I think she knows what a TARDIS is, but she didn't realize that was the TARDIS. So she could be a Time Lord, just didn't quite know that, you know, didn't bet 2 to 2 that the police box was going to be a TARDIS till a little bit later.
maybe. I think that's cool. Those are good ideas.
So,
All right, let's start wrapping this towards the end. Any final thoughts before we go ahead and rate this one?
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers,
Final
everybody.
thoughts and prayers.
Exactly.
I just want to say that I know that we kind of mentioned who'd you go by Monday? Is that right? Monday, right?
Yeah.
Is that-
Monday.
yeah,
Monday.
Played by Veretta. Is it Sethu? Is that right?
So yeah.
Sethu.
And she is outstanding. She was outstanding in this. We've seen her in other things. She was great in that
Andor.
summer show. Yeah,
Andor.
thank you, Andor. And I just loved her in this. And you know, we talk about performances that are worthy of future companions. If we didn't know that she was going to be on the schedule for next season, I would be like, yes, please. And now I'm just like, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know what that's going to entail, but I am, with her performance in this, I'm confident that it's going to be really, really special with having her join the TARDIS crew.
It's interesting. I love the line the doctor said, you know, you should marry Ruby because, you know, then you'd be Monday, Sunday.
That reminds me of when Prima, before she became Martha, she had the little part of being in the Cybermen.
She was supposedly her cousin.
Yeah.
Identical cousin.
Identical cousin. But then it's the same thing with Eve Miles when she appeared in the new series, the one with what you call it, Charles Dickens.
Yeah.
And that was, and then she appeared as Gwen, and then the doctor in the episode. Oh, we think you had a relative back in the 1800s. It's like, oh God, really?
that's
Yeah.
lame.
So that's probably what Monday is going to end up being. She was probably a relative to her the future companion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also thought that I can't find the exact line, so forgive me, but I do the doctor says to his companion something that I think every single doctor has wanted to say to their companion's face, right in front of them, which is, "You are incredibly brave, but you're also incredibly stupid."
Yes.
That was a great line.
And when we're
I
done with this,
do.
I am going to be very, very mad at you.
I mean, just right to her. I mean, they are face to face. He's like, and he's so emotional about, like, "You are really, really brave and really, really, really stupid." It's just like this.
That is something I was going to point out, that I really missed Moffat's dialogue, because there were some great lines in here, like "death by salesman."
Yes.
Oh yes, yes.
And "everywhere is a beach eventually."
I love that line, and it's true.
Yeah.
That's
Or
why we're
just-
staying in Atlanta, because eventually it is going to be beachfront property. So
Was there a Mavity reference in this episode?
I don't.
I didn't see one.
Yeah, I don't remember one.
And I don't think there was one in Devil's Court either. I spotted the one in Space Babies.
Just
Yeah, there was
Space
definitely one in
Babies was
Space
easy.
Babies.
So
But and also that another great Moffat moment that the shooting nails is where he's talking about, like, what happens and activates the algorithm and keeps dying, keeps you it's that phrasing, keeps you dying, keeps you buying, right? And then he goes,
Yep.
Yeah.
"Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? Do like?" And he's saying it like every time it means something different to somebody else, and it's just, he's so good. He's so good. We are so blessed with this actor to be the doctor.
Absolutely.
very much so. Very much so. All right. Let's go ahead and rate this 1 out of 5 TARDISes. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. All right, Ken, you're going
5.
first.
5.
5.
5. Woo.
Wow. Okay.
I
Kirby,
think-
your
4
turn.
3/4.
4 3/4.
Mainly it's pulled down by the kid. And by the way, I've pushed up my rating a little bit listening to you guys, because you pointed out some things that I hadn't thought of. So
Okay. Awesome. Mary.
I think a 4.5, because also the kid, even though, I mean, kind of tried to justify it, but it just, she brought me out of it. There was just, the way she was reacting just felt very strange and unreal to me.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, I think this is a brilliant episode. I would highly recommend it to anybody. The direction also, which we talked about a little bit, is amazing. The music is amazing. The way it looks is I mean, it's really beautifully done, and just a really stellar episode. So nice to see. And also, I mean, Moffat just has a way of making things horrifying in this twisted kind of way that he gets away with, like the whole compressed dead body thing, and the way he says they were smelted.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever used that word before. Smelted.
Smelted.
Especially
I
in
did-
regard to talking about a dead body.
I did
Yes.
search checkatoya.net, and he has not used smelted before.
There you go.
Or
Right.
just the whole way the ambulance is, they say the ambulance is not programmed to assist non-believers. And I was like, oh, wow, that's a pointed comment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Mike.
This is where it gets difficult, because Moffat has set such a huge bar, I think, almost more than anybody else who's ever written the series, in my opinion. That if this was let's face it, if this aired during Chibnall's run, this would be a 5.
Oh, this would have been a 10, dude.
It'd be a 10.
Yeah,
Yes.
it would be out of the ballpark.
Nobody yelling, baby.
So but this is also, you're like, well, is it better than you know, Silence in the Library? Is it better than The Doctor Dances? Is it better than, you know, and it's like Blink and all that. It's like, I can't say that it's a 5. So it's a 4.5, because it is really solid and engaging, despite the fact that it shouldn't be at all, because it's as Kirby pointed out, there should be no suspense here. And yet this episode is chock full, it's dripping with suspense, in a way that it just is a credit to everybody involved. So 4.5 for me.
Okay. Ah, man. Again, I'm going to be agreeing with you too, because I am also going to be doing a 4.5. I really wanted to give this a 5. You know, I liked it in a different way that I liked The Devil's Chord last week, and I gave that almost a 5. But as far as Moffat took it up another level, but that damn kid brought it down for me. And I agree with what everybody's been saying, how, you know, as a little kid, I would have been in tears. I would have been completely upset about it. Yeah, it's in the future and death might mean something different. Hell, she even said, you know, when the doctors, you know, said, you know, your dad's dead. And, but, you know, even she was like, well, his body's dead, but he's still with me. And, you know, type thing. And so, but just the acting from her pulled it down. So solid 4.5. Everything else I loved in the story. And I am looking forward to watching when Moffat does the Christmas special. I'm looking forward to whatever else he does, you know, type thing. You know,
Yeah,
and
hopefully
you
he's
know,
whispering in Russell's ear all season long.
oh God, yes. God, yes. You know,
Yeah, don't do
because
that.
I
Oh, maybe do that. And then, yeah, just here and there. Like it's enough to be like,
exactly.
oh, okay, cool.
Exactly. So my fingers are crossed, and we definitely would love to hear from you guys at home. What did you guys think of this one? Feedback at our station who is the best way to get in touch with us. And speaking of getting in touch with us, we got 2 emails that we're going to talk about real quick. Let's go to Paul Kennedy wrote us. Thank you, Paul, for writing with us. And he said about the first 2 episodes in our episode last week, it was quite predictable that y'all would trip over each other about how good the episodes were. The only problem is they weren't. Space Baby was like a mid-season fodder, and Devil's Chord was terrible. Jinx Monsoon was great, but the story was bad and the musical session was horrible. Let's be honest. If Chibnall had written these instead of RTD, you all would have tripped over yourself about how bad they were. When you're rebooting a series, hard or soft, you need to come out with a bang that makes folks want to keep watching. Neither episode did that for me. Thanks, Paul. Okay.
Agree.
And I
I've
don't
heard
disagree with him. I don't disagree with him because I thought, you know, truthfully, I thought Space Babies maybe wasn't the proper episode to start
Nope.
the season.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
no, I
But
mean,
I don't
even
agree
I
about
think,
Devil's Chord.
yeah, I think even the best of it. I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, it was mid. It was like mid for most of us. I mean, we liked a lot of it, but it was not. I mean, I didn't think it was terrible, but
No.
I would not have started my season that way.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I agree with him with because,
Well,
you know,
I also
Jinx was
think too,
awesome and I thought that was a great episode.
the big thing I'm since Doctor Who has come back with Russell T, I'm kind of surprised that I think the biggest thing I'm surprised by is the fact that there's a lot of people who don't like Murray Gold that I am just surprised by, that are coming out, obviously because he's, you know, working on Doctor Who again, and has done 2 musical numbers now. And people are really full of like not happy about it. And I love actually Murray Gold's music.
Mhm.
Did I think that the musical number in the last episode was the best ever? No, he's done better, but
No, because
I
you even
also,
said that last week that
yeah,
you've seen better.
but man, I'm really surprised that how much hate Murray Gold's been getting since Doctor Who's return, and that's a shame because I just think he's one of the best.
Yeah, we can look forward to a Doctor Who at the proms. There's
Yep.
one.
That's right.
Absolutely.
They're coming back, which is
Yep.
really awesome.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
and by the way, I had no problem whatsoever with the musical number at the end of Devil's Court. I don't know why people didn't like it.
Some people just don't like musicals, though, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot better than Gunfighters was.
All right, low bar there, dude.
bar.
Really
Wow,
low
yeah.
bar.
Yeah.
All right, we have
way to put things
another-
in way to put things in perspective, Ken.
Right. Another email from our friend Elizabeth Laney. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you?
Hey.
All right. Greetings, ESW crew. I'm loving the new season of Doctor Who so far. Space Babies was unexceptional. I probably won't ever choose to watch it again, but if it was playing on TV, I wouldn't turn it off. On the other hand, The Devil's Chord was magnificent. Can we have Jinx Monsoon on every week? Maestro was such an incredible character, amazing conception and execution. And the way the use of music in the episode, particularly near the beginning, was awesome. I love the maestros playing us into the opening theme was just wonderful. Stephen Moffat ripped my heart and my chest out in Boom and stamped all over it. I wasn't really prepared for how suspenseful the episode was. Truthfully, I didn't even realize Moffat had written it beforehand, or else I would have had a lot more weary going into it. I love how contained it was. I think the new Doctor's fantastic. Chudy is knocking it out of the park every week, but his performance in Boom was particularly good. He and Millie have great dynamic together. There are elements of some of the episodes that I could criticize, but I'm just happy to be enjoying Doctor Who again. I can't wait to see where the rest of the season goes. Looking forward to your reviews every week. I always love listening to your thoughts on Doctor Who. Elizabeth. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank
We
you.
so
Elizabeth.
appreciate you.
so much.
Thank you.
She's been with us a long time.
Yeah,
She's
I'm
put
so
up with our
glad you're
nonsense for a
enjoying
long
it.
time.
Yes,
Yes, she has. And she's been one of our biggest fans, which is awesome. And thank you, everybody who does write us. Thanks for the new people who've been joining the Earth Station Who group. And our numbers are doing really good so far for the season. So the whole one episode. So thank you. We appreciate it. And hopefully they'll continue with this one. All right, let's wrap this up. We'll be back again, as always, next week, and we'll be looking at the next episode of Doctor Who with big grins on our faces, as always. And while we're here, though, before we get into talking about the next one, let's thank our cast and crew for being here. All right, Ken, you've made it through your first episode with us. Thank you, man.
Oh, thank you very much for letting me join you for the first time. It's been a long time since I've been part of any podcast, so thank you very much.
Well, we
really
appreciate you and your
appreciate
cat and your Doctor Who Build-A-Bears back there. They are adorable.
It's pretty awesome. Pretty darn awesome. And Kirby, thank you so much, my friend.
Always fun to be with you guys.
Anything you want to promote, like the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast?
Good old 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
Are you still doing that?
Yeah.
We're up to 500. Well, we're actually up to 590 episodes, but Adam hasn't released the last two yet because he's super busy, and we're even going to be taking about a month break because he's so super busy with his real life. But yeah, we are still pushing through, watching every single story, and in this case, re-reviewing them. Right now, 9 years after we first reviewed things, we just finished talking about what was it? Under the Lake Before the Flood. And
that's awesome.
The next time we meet in a month, Girl Who Died, Woman Who Lived.
That's awesome.
But we're also doing these kind of a super speed run through them as well.
That is cool.
Anyway.
It's always good to have you. And we'll have, of course, a link in the show notes for you guys.
Yep.
As always. Thank you. And let's thank our regulars. Ms. Mary Ogle, thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. I got to talk about Stephen Moffat again. Yay!
Yay!
Blue.
You want to promote your artwork?
You can find me at maryogle.com or on Etsy at eVision Arts.
Awesome. And Mr. Mike Gordon, we made it.
We did. And as always, it's my pleasure.
You want to promote what you got going on tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, yes. Well, tomorrow night we'll be recording. Actually, people listening to this, it'll already have happened, but you can actually listen to it. You won't be able to join us live, but yes, I am recording the next episode of the Dragon Con Report. So we'll be doing that live, and we do that every month leading up to the big event. And also on Wednesday, also this week, I'll be recording some episodes of our new podcast I'm doing with Drew Leiter, which is Bat Chums, which we're reviewing every episode in order of the Batman 60s series.
Oh, cool.
So that's been a lot of fun. So yeah, we are going in order.
Batman.
We are going in order on that show. So if you like hearing my opinions on a 60-year-old franchise, a 60-year-old series, then yeah, tune in to Bat Chums and listen to Drew and I talk all about. We're going episode by episode. So
how far into it are you so far?
We will be releasing episode 4, I believe, this week.
Okay, good. I can catch up.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah, they're only half
very
hour.
much so.
So.
Exactly, just like the real series. Awesome.
Yeah, just the episodes themselves are about a half an hour, 20 minutes, and so we try to keep our episodes that long too. So
there you go. Awesome. Well, thank you folks for listening. We appreciate you more than you could ever guess. And please, if you made it this far into the podcast, into the video, like and subscribe, as we like to say. Give us a thumbs up even. Always a good way to let the algorithm know, where we are and what you guys think of us. We do appreciate you, and we'll be back again next week. And it's awesome because we're getting people who's like, when is your next review coming out? We're wanting to find out what you guys think. So,
we love you
it's
guys.
Pretty awesome. We love you. You have plenty of options to listen to many Doctor Who podcasts right now. And there's not as many as there used to be.
No.
But you know what? It's still really great to be able to be here and you guys selecting to listen to us. And that's what we do appreciate. As of course, for myself, Ken, Kirby, Mary, Mike, we will be seeing you next time here on Earth Station Who. And of course, thoughts and prayers are with everyone. Kiss, kiss.
You have been listening to Earth Station Who, a pop culture podcast dedicated to all things Doctor Who, featuring talents from throughout space and time. All topics on the show are the sole opinions of the individuals and are to be used for entertainment value alone. You can subscribe to our show wherever fine podcasts are found, or check out our website, earthstationwho.com. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook or Instagram, and if you enjoyed the show, please write to us at feedback@earthstationwho.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on the next journey of Earth Station Who.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.